Hey everyone, welcome back to Possibilities with Monique de Maio. Today I have double fun. Woohoo! I have Meghan and Tracy in the studio. Meghan Crotty, raise your hand so we know which one's which. I used to introduce them as the redhead and the brunette, but you know, stuff happens in the real world, so we're just not going to do that. And then we have Tracy Wishik. Let me introduce you to these lovely ladies. Meghan was born and raised a New Jersey girl, originally from Teaneck, and then spent her formative years in Ringwood. Her photography journey began in high school in the darkroom, where she became really hooked on photography. While she was working toward her degree, she worked for as many different photographers as she possibly could. Meghan worked for a variety of wedding photographers and focused on that side of that for quite some time. It wasn't until she assisted with a newborn and maternity photographer that she realized another avenue she would fall in love with. She became part of the Little Nest Portraits team, which is the previous name of their studio, in 2017 as the lead photographer. Through this experience, she has met and photographed countless maternity, newborn, first birthday, and all family milestones you can possibly think of. In 2018, Tracy joined the team, and to be honest, at first, they didn't quite click, but it took some time. But after a year of working together, they became somewhat inseparable. A lot of their clients can't tell them apart. Now with their hair, forget it. It's going to get even better. Outside of photography, Meghan loves food, all things that smell good. Her fiance, Louis, or Luis, as it's properly said, and her beloved cat, Chachi. In her free time, you'll find Meghan snuggled up with her cat for an afternoon nap or deep, deep into some French fries. Tracy Wisham grew up in Bergen County until she moved out to Jefferson Township. Her dad bought her first camera with film when she was 8 years old, and she never turned back. Tracy was in and out of the dark room at high school until she went to Syracuse University and then pretty much moved into the dark room. She got her BFA in fine art photography with an emphasis in creative writing. She had no idea that that's what all she wanted to do, but she did know that whatever it was that she was going to end up doing had to have a camera in her hand, and then she'd be happy. Tracy bounced around doing part-time photo gigs, events, weddings, product photography, portraiture, HTML, CSS code. Girlfriend, you are all over. Customer service, pretty much everything. She wears a lot of hats and is a very detail-oriented person. Finally, she met the Little Nest team in 2018 and they fell in love. During the past 4 years, she has grown her in her craft and formed deep connections. Meghan. And though Meghan thought she was a little odd and unique at first, they're pretty much inseparable now. They're like sisters. Outside of photography, Tracy loves animals, all animals, and there are a lot of those. She's also a big plant mom and a bigger foodie, and recently just turned vegan. Congratulations. Tracy can usually be found watching a horror movie with some popcorn or at a greenhouse finding the next addition to her house. Phew! Welcome, Meghan and Tracy. So this is so much fun. I will do a little plug here. Meghan and Tracy are some of the most talented photographers I have ever met, and they're super, super great to work with and really quite wonderful. And I started talking to them about being women entrepreneurs, and it became kind of kismet that we should be talking today. So I wanted to kind of unpack what it's like to be young and ambitious and starting out, and the kinds of things that women business owners encounter that you don't know until you know.
Yeah, just a crazy series of ups and downs. I think, at least for us, we did not think that we were going to be business owners this early into everything. It kind of, the trajectory out of our big careers and our careers in general just took some crazy turns a lot faster than we thought. So it did mean that we kind of jumped into a lot of things a little blind in some situations, and then had to really educate ourselves and dive deep and learn how to not only further being a photographer, but being a business owner in general. Because there's a lot of things when you're just a photographer that you don't need to worry about when you're a business owner.
Yeah, so I think there's a great book called The Great Game of Business. And what that does is it talks about what you just said. It's this idea that just because you're great at a craft doesn't make you a great business owner of that craft, you know? So a chef doesn't necessarily make a great restaurateur, and a great hairdresser doesn't make a great salon owner necessarily, and so on, right?
Yeah, I think we've learned that the hard way in a way where it's just we got kind of like pushed into the deep end and then have had to learn how to swim really fast. I guess it's almost 3 years that we've been businessing together. So that can just be huge kind of wins, successes, and also some really hard times too.
Well, tell me, what are the kinds of things that you've had to learn for yourself the hard way?
Everything. How to market a business, how to financially structure a business, consistent needs, how to stay organized, how to time manage, how to best prepare clients and communicate with them, and client experience and everything. Social media, taxes, you name it.
So when you did your BFAs, this was not part of the equation, was it?
No, not at all. And that's actually something that I've really been frustrated with because I took all of these insane art classes and never once was I told to take a business class. So we've just been trying to educate ourselves.
Where do you go to learn stuff?
She's the queen of webinars, this one over here. So she is, I mean, I won't speak for you. I'm just, I think my response to when something's not working in general is always like, what piece of the puzzle am I missing? Why is it not working? What can I do to fix it? What can I try that's different? So I usually go and I reach out to people that are similar than us. I reach out to people that are very different than us. I reach out to similar industries, different industries, look around, see what's working, ask people around me what they think. And it's led me in the direction of a lot of photographers in the industry that market and help other photographers. It's led me to just people in general, business coaches that I reached out to, and they referred me to certain webinars or educational courses. Even how we get our beautiful pieces from our lab, they offer certain educational courses. So it's just about consistently searching, Googling, reaching out, talking to people to be like, okay, this is working or is not working in our business. How do we learn? How do we go from here? Because you can't keep doing it the way we're doing it.
That's actually a really fresh perspective to hear somebody who is not afraid to say they don't know something.
I feel like all we ever say is that. I want that tattooed on my head. I don't know how to do that, but I could figure it out. Yeah. But I'll learn. I'll try.
That's a unique perspective too, just this idea that you'll figure it out. Most people get like apoplectic and they stop and they get confronted and they just give up. You guys don't give up.
No, we're very determined. I think with everything we've been through in general, personal or work life, everything, we are determined. I know that there is a way. So for me, it's just about finding that way. In terms of figuring out what's not working or what is working or when to step back, I think we take a look at every month and what we're doing and what is going on in our business in general, what's not working. And we've realized, as of recently, that how we handle our finances in our business, even though that's how our previous, employers have done it, it is not working for us. So reaching out and realizing, okay, there are other ways to do your business. There's other ways to handle your finances, handle your profits, handle your marketing, your advertising, your email campaigns, your sales funnels. And I think once we realize it's not working, once we realize we take a month, 2 weeks, 3 months, 6 months into something and realize, okay, we're not seeing the goals that we want to see. It's not going to the places we want it to go into. And we pivot and we shift. And sometimes that happens right at the end of something if we're doing mini sessions. And every year we slightly adjusted our mini sessions to accommodate and to make sure they're profitable for us. And we at first were following a very old model that was not profitable. And you're following it because that's the business you bought into. And we were realizing that it was sucking a lot of money. We had a lot of happy clients, but we were burnt out physically and mentally. And the money wasn't there at the end of the year to show for it all. So we, every year change adjusted. If something tested out didn't work, we changed it. And constantly making changes to everything across the board. Not scared to change. No, definitely not. I think we're just going back to determination. I think that is the only reason why I'm still doing this, to be honest, is I am hellbent that I know deep in my core that this is what I'm meant to be doing. So yeah, I'm determined on high water to keep doing this for the rest of my life.
First of all, that's a unique passion that you have, and you're both fortunate that you found each other because you share very similar wiring and motivation, which is amazing. It's sometimes I feel like having a partner in crime is so beneficial because if you were pushing the boulder uphill by yourself, I feel like it's more difficult.
It's easier to give up, I think, because you're just so insular then that, all your perspective is yourself. And sometimes we're very similar in sense of our photography background, but personality-wise, we could be more different. And I think that is a huge help as well. Because if there was two Meghans here or two Tracys, I think the roof would fall off and explode. So it's kind of a good thing to have that balance. It's not always easy.
Yeah, no, listen, it's been 25 years. I can't even get over it. And I think a couple times I almost gave up, but to your point, I was hell bent on succeeding too and figuring it out. Though to be fair, my husband did join the business 10 years ago, so I feel like I got my Meghan Tracey at some point, and he did make some really great suggestions and enhancement that made us better. So I think 1 + 1 = 3. So for those of you listening out there, when you do find the right partner, and I want to caution people who are listening or viewing that sometimes, the partner has to be accretive. It has to be 1 + 1 = 3, not 1 + 1 = 1.5. And I had a couple of people approach me over the years being like, oh, I want, this is great. I want to be, your partner, whatever. And I'm like, what are you bringing to me that I don't have? So before you get married, and this is a very appropriate comment since our Meghan is getting married in just a few weeks of this taping. By the time it airs, she will be Mrs. But, you want to ask yourself, what are you bringing to the party? So what have you found to be the most beneficial of being a female business owner or just a business owner in general right now?
Or I think in terms of being, a business owner, the benefits of being a female business owner would be our empathy, attention to detail, our understanding of emotions. And because we deal with the public and we generally deal with women, we know how we operate in the sense of like our own species better. So it's a lot easier to kind of see a lot of different sides. 100%. I think when you're a business owner, there is a misconception too that you have all this flexibility as a business owner, and that's true and not true. I think we have more flexibility because I have her, not because I'm a business owner. Because if I was on my own, I would not be able to take certain time off or do certain things, or if I want to do a side hustle or something besides our business, I wouldn't be able to do that without her. So there is that misconception. A lot of people think business owners, it's all about flexibility. Oh, you're just a business owner. Oh, close your business down. Go to Mexico. But yeah, I think it's about realizing that being a woman-owned business and having a business partner as well, it creates this community and this nurturing when you're a business owner together. And being a woman, we're able to really get into the finer details of things. She said we're detail orientated, and I'm a perfectionist when it comes to certain things. We're really good at picking up like emotional intelligence and degrees with our families in terms of like what is reading the room. Yeah, reading the room. When someone's upset, a client needs more attention or they want more of their own space in terms of the process and experience for them, that is something we're able to pick up on.
There is a difference between providing a service and providing a product, isn't there?
We're 100% service. And so it's that, I feel a lot of times it's, 20% is, oh, beautiful photography. And the rest is all, how did they feel working with you? And what was it like? Because if you came here, had great photos, but you had no connection with us, or the conversation was terrible, or the communication was bad, it taints the entire experience.
Totally. I just remember being in your studio with Kendra and Steve, and then Steve had to leave, but Kendra and I were like, and it didn't stop. So let's unpack this idea of how have you felt other women business owners and the willingness to help and share best practices and that kind of thing. You kind of talked about it a little bit in person, but I would love for our listeners to hear about that.
Yeah, I think we talked about this last time I saw you, definitely there in the photography industry, especially when we first started, there was no sort of pulling the curtain back from business to business. Every other photography studio was a direct competitor. There was all sorts of negative talk about other businesses. And even within that business, a lot of kind of toxic behavior and negative kind of communicating. So we've really, within the last couple of years or so, getting away, doing our own thing. Needs goal for me and both of us was we don't want to do that. We want to change this narrative that there's enough for everyone to go around. I think when we've aligned ourselves with the right companies and the right business owners, things have skyrocketed in terms of communication and helpfulness. We are working with photographers and communicating with photographers that share that same goal of we're here to help each other out. We're all human beings on this planet. We're all meant to help each other out. There is no competition. We're all living our own lives. People are going to gravitate to a certain photographer or hairstylist or whatever because they form a connection, and there's enough of us to go around. So doing that and just trying to be more supportive. How can we help you? How can you help us in return? How does that relationship work has been pretty amazing because it's gotten us out of that insular kind of bubble that we felt like we were in.
It's easier, I think, to form relationships with other business owners when they're not in your sector or if they're not in your geography. Like if you're talking to photographers that are in Pennsylvania or New York Metro or somewhere that's not in your drivable footprint, I feel like that's easier, no?
Yeah, so I actually challenged myself about, I don't know, a couple months ago. There's a photographer local to us who always seems our direct competitor. I always would hear the name from other clients. So I always had this idea that, oh, she's, her work is so beautiful and better and da-da-da. And then I finally said, oh, forget this. So I just directly reached out to her and introduced ourselves and said, love to grab coffee with you. And even if that doesn't go anywhere, right? If she doesn't meet us halfway to say, let's grab coffee, at least I can say I tried, but there's definitely that where you feel more comfortable reaching out to someone who's not anywhere near your geographical wheelhouse.
Yeah, but so here's my question. This is a question probably the audience is thinking to themselves. Why did you do that? Like, what was your end game for that conversation?
I think it was a two-sided thing there. I'm sure part of it was for me to feel like I was taking steps to change my own internal narrative of how I felt about other female photographers around me, to start getting rid of that negative talk about that every other female photographer is the enemy, and that, oh yeah, they do that. That's so lame. Oh, I'm sure they're not a good manual shooter. All of these things. And then I think the other side of it was, I don't know, probably just wanting to learn as much as I can as a business owner to see, well, how do you do things? Are we doing something crazy over here? Like,
have you met with her yet or not yet?
No.
So she's reticent to do it, yes?
Yes. There was like this almost odd dynamic in the photography world when it's like geographically close, where it's almost like road rage.
It isn't just in the photography world. No, let that go. Let that narrative go, girlfriend. That is everywhere. Yeah. So here's I would give you a couple pieces of advice on that one, if I may.
Of course.
Yeah, burn your calories somewhere else. Yeah. So the thing is, unless they understand, this person understands that there's a distinct difference between you and they, and if there is no distinct difference on paper between you and they, this is never going to happen. And it doesn't need to happen from your perspective because you can do what you need to do and continue in your journey without her blessing, contribution, because she's probably not going to level up with you anyway. Like, she's not going to tell you about her pricing. She's not going to tell you about how she does things if it's successful. She's certainly not going to tell you where she's failing. So on paper, you have this narrative that she's so much bigger, better, more successful, whatever. Read my book, Internal and External Narratives, killer.
We already started reading your book, and it's amazing.
Thank you for that. That was good. I didn't mean to do a plug, but I was like, I've been through this kind of conversation before, and I've wasted calories trying to, like, befriend people in my business. And I had I had people take me on. I was like, okay, fine, doesn't matter. But I think, and not but, I think when you look around the referring, so I would encourage you guys to dig deeper in the referring, what I'll call ecosystem of what, who you're surrounded by, both in a physical form and also in the realm of who you can partner with or have referrals, cross referrals going and things like this, right? So, you know, um, you'll laugh, but like a doula is a perfect cross referral partner.
Yeah, we've been definitely been more open-minded of all different, where we partner with the both balls and these candles, really trying to think about products, things that we love outside of what we're kind of moving away from. I tried the local photography thing, didn't work out, not gonna keep going after that, move on to the next thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's for the family part. I think you guys do a great corporate job too, though I know that that's not really part of what you say about yourselves, but and you're incredibly talented in that regard too. So I think it's a positioning of telling a story through visual. You tell stories for families, but you also tell stories for individuals. And if you show up for a photo shoot as an executive, you handle that just as beautifully as you handle families.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, what other things do we want to like share with our audience? I mean, you've said some great stuff already. Don't give up. Be willing to admit you don't know what you don't know. Finding resources. How do you know who to listen to?
That is the hardest, literally the hardest thing I think you struggle with. Well, is there's advice and things to do for every single topic you think of, and which lady do you go to? Who do you go to for certain advice? I think even as a woman, I've learned in my personal friendships with women is, my grandma gave me the best advice. She said, when it comes to your girlfriends, you take them, you split them in half. You choose the half you love, and you get rid of the other half. And I think that's how I've learned to navigate all of my female friendships, and then even outside of female friendships, the professional side too of things. So we take what we like from this, we keep it moving. We take what we like from that, we keep it moving. So it's just like a big kind of hodgepodge.
Yeah, we talked briefly when I saw you in person about getting rid of the energy vampires, the energy what do we call it? The vampires, the energy suckers, the joy killers. There's so many words. Have you done that?
We have, I think so. I think a huge part of us when we changed our name in our studio was that exact was we want to get away from the energy vampires, that's new crazy products that we love, and really focus on an environment of positivity. It's a two-way street when you're in a service space industry. Just changing our studio, changing our name, and we've been more selective since doing that.
I think you should put it in your messaging, to be honest with you. I know I do this to every every guest that's on. I'm like, can I give you some messaging and positioning advice? I can't help myself. But like, it's this idea of enthusiasm and grateful and I just had it and I literally just lost it. I had a word for you that I wanted you to bake into your website and your message, and it's about communicating the idea that you're looking for families that have this fundamental happiness about them.
Yes, totally. It's almost like in your book, is it the 3 Ps you mentioned or 3 words?
Be grateful, be intentional, be bold. My words behind me.
And you got right behind me. There they are. And I want to put that here too as well about who we decide to work with.
There should be a visual, a sort of a visual welcome mat. It can be digital as well as physical, and it anchors the person in understanding who they just landed with. If you're gonna, the reality is that's the journey. The buyer needs to understand if they're negative Nelly, keep walking.
Do you think that some people know that they're a negative Nelly though?
So yes, I do. I think that there's half of negative Nellies get really, really irked with positive Patties. So I irk the shit out of people a lot, and I'm okay with that. I told you, I don't give a, I've got no more F's to give. I'm done with it. So I understand that I'm not for everybody because I have two things. There's a lot of things, but one of the things that annoys the shit out of people is that I have this feeling that if you put your mind to something, you could achieve the same result. I put my mind to something, I'm all about it. I'm going to do the hard work and I'm going to achieve it. It's my goal. But if you tell me you want that same goal, I, for you, believe you. They have self-limiting beliefs and they get aggravated with me because I don't have that for them. Make sense? It's crazy, right? So they're like, you don't understand. I can't do that. I'm like, okay. I thought you could, but if you say you can't, then you're right. So that irks people. So that's going to be the same thing. Your positive energy is going to irk people with negative energy, or half of them are going to be annoyed. They don't know why, but they're just annoyed.
I think that's helped us though. I think because I can think of in the past exactly that, where the changes have like turned certain people off and they just, went elsewhere. But that works for us.
Right. So there's a thing called success tax. Coach Brendan Burchard says it best. And he will tell you that not everybody in your life is going to support you when you change or you achieve or you exceed expectations. Not everyone's going to be happy. They're going to say things like, well, you used to be blah, 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 or what happened to you? And it's kind of like they're uncomfortable because they got their own shit over here. It's not about you. It's about them. It's always about them. Let it go.
I think that's it. It's when you're changing and you're growing and you're willing to make those changes and other people are not so willing, or maybe they feel stuck in some aspect of their life that they're still working on. There is definitely almost a resentment towards you of like, how dare you grow? Yeah. Like, stay back here with me.
Yes. So great. That's first of all, I want to commend you for the acknowledgement and the ability to see that for yourself so early on. Many people don't. Most people don't. Or they have to wait till they're really freaking old like me to figure it out. But it's true. It is true. That's amazing. So getting to the heart of what we want to impart with some of our listeners who are entrepreneurs in and of themselves, it's this idea, how do you know who to believe? And how do you know, or what do you use as tools to figure out whether this is good advice or bad advice?
It really just stems down to trusting your gut. I think, I can think of this very specific example where we had reached out to someone we had worked with years ago when we were younger, who we thought was almost like this illuminated guru, right? We circle back around this time, we reach out, we have a conversation and a meeting, and it was just, I could just tell within 10 minutes that this is not someone that I should be speaking with. You can just feel it almost. So you've got, I don't agree with anything that person is saying to me right now. And that's okay. It's upsetting, right? When you put your trust in someone, especially a coach like that. But it's almost like okay, I'm going to take that conversation as a learning of, okay, that wasn't for me. That person wasn't for me. And it doesn't mean I have to apply what they said to my business, my life. I'm just going to keep it moving and try to find someone else who does fit. Yeah. There's a definite spidey sense. I think there's also this idea of knowing the type of person someone is when you approach them. There are different types of people that will give you different types of advice. And there's the people that will be comforting, like the parents or a close loved one, that will just give you that okay, you need to be hugged, you need this background.
So good. So good.
Yeah, you go to them when you need that. But if you need honest, brutal advice, then you're going to go to a quite different person. If you need someone to uplift you and encourage you, then don't go to someone that is a negative Nelly. So knowing how to recognize those people in your life, limit your time, and when to approach them, I think is the best tool.
Words of wisdom, Lloyd, words of wisdom. At the end of the day, I feel like there's people that are alongside of you, learning with you, that probably need to hear some of your words of wisdom and your experiences so that they can kind of avoid falling into the precipices, the possible precipices, say that. And I think that your openness and willingness to learn is so refreshing.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you for that. I feel like, yeah, we have one other option. It's either, it seems all the time, it's either you get stuck and you bury your head in the sand and you just start filled with despair, or you just, try to keep it moving, keep trying. It's never ending. It doesn't mean that we haven't crawled out of our own precipice since.
Lots of those.
You know what I mean? And they're still going to happen. And I think being a business owner is coming to terms with the fact that you are going to succeed, but you're also going to have a lot of losses. Knowing that, and knowing that every loss isn't a mistake as long as you learn from it, is the key to everything.
That's great. Yeah, I think you guys have such great attitudes, though. It would be hard for someone not to want you to succeed. Do you know what I mean? I want to summarize some of our takeaways because you guys have had lots of them. So I think the willingness to learn and to engage with others to create a better business and a better framework for you guys is amazing. Your balance, your willingness to help each other, be part of a community, your growth mindset, amazing. Understanding the different types of people that you should go to when you feel a certain way is super important. Yeah, don't go to mom if you need a kick in the ass. She won't give it to you. And then realizing that not everybody's going to be happy for you when you do succeed beyond your wildest imagination, and you will. I'm positive of that. What else do you want to leave people with? Anything that, because I mean, you've said so many great things. I just want to give you the opportunity to close out with your own words.
I think maybe not to be afraid to go after your dream. I think that, as you said earlier, Monique, everybody can do whatever it is that they want to do. It just takes a lot of hard work, a lot of kind of mental strength and dedication, and not to be afraid of the failures. If I could tell my 20-year-old self, that would be not to be afraid of the constant jumping. Well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to try this. And that's just all part of it. Don't let fear drive you. Only let passion drive you, determination drive you. You fail, you got to keep going. You got to find another way. There's always a way. That's what I've learned. There's always a way. Just be kinder to yourself, too. Yeah, definitely be kinder to yourself. We're hard on ourselves a lot.
Love it. Love it. Guys, thank you so much. Awesome, awesome session. I can't thank you enough. I hope that we'll collectively be able to share this with all sorts of business owners, women, young women, old women, women who are thinking about doing something and they're afraid. I think you're inspirational. Thank you for everybody for tuning in to Possibilities with Monique de Maio. And if today hasn't given you a sense of possibility, I don't know what has. Thank you, Meghan and Tracy. Have a great day, everybody. No, make it a great day. Thank you so much for listening to Possibilities with Monique de Maio, where we unpack life as a female mover and shaker. If you like the show, please consider liking it, or better still, subscribing to it and leaving us a rating. It truly does help. Also, you can pick up my book, The 7 Secrets to Creating a Life You Love, a practical guide for women in leadership. You can find the book, other episodes of this podcast, and how to stay in touch at moniquedemaio.com. DEMAIO. I look forward to seeing you again soon. With gratitude, Monique.